Well, now that I've done 200 episodes, I'm fairly confident that I can no longer contribute anything remotely original to the masses of YouTube goers. I mean, if you really think about it, how many original ideas are there left? Throughout the years, there have been so many minds with so many ideas that there's only room enough for the truly great ones to stand out, like air conditioning, television, or that little drawer under the toaster that catches all the crumbs. That's a lot to live up to, and especially when most ideas are unoriginal, it's hard to make the video blog equivalent of air conditioning or the toaster drawer. Personally, I think the key gift in the idea-having business is being able to throw away your ideas. If you think all your ideas are good, if you're so attached to your ideas, you are doomed never to have a really good one. But if you're able to sever ties with your ideas, especially ones you've been forming for quite some time, then you'll be more attuned to when a truly great idea comes along. Do I have this gift? Well, apparently not, because I thought it would be a good idea to do a video every day for a year. And so I proudly present another totally amazing idea from the mind of Griff. Good afternoon, butt kickers. It's July 20, the 201st day of 2011, which means that 42 years ago today, the Apollo 11 crew successfully made the first manned landing on the moon. Or did they? No, they did. The things they learned from this voyage were really quite fascinating. For example, they learned that the moon is not, in fact, made entirely of cheese. As a matter of fact, Buzz Aldrin himself popped off his helmet, took a big wad of moon stuff, and crammed it in his gob. At first, he reportedly tasted a hint of provolone, or a nice Gruyere. But then he realized that the moon stuff was actually nothing like cheese, that it was actually just dust. But he chewed it and swallowed it anyway, because he was taught to have good manners. Buzz also figured out, thanks to this little taste of the moon, that there's not a whole lot of oxygen up there. Namely, none. While Buzz was eating dirt and suffocating, Neil Armstrong, the narcissist, was taking pictures of himself saluting the American flag, which he would have posted to his Facebook with his fancy new phone, but the moon is a total 4G dead zone. He also discovered the corpse of Alice Cramden and determined that while the half of the moon we see does look kinda like a face, it isn't actually a face, debunking the man in the moon theory popularized by the 1902 French silent film A Trip to the Moon. Which is a good thing, too, because if I were the Earth, I doubt I'd want something that ugly spending all of its time around me. Oddly enough, though, Neil discovered that on the other side of the moon, the dark side of the moon, there's a giant butt. I guess that really is where the sun don't shine. As Master of Ceremonies for 2011, I think that I should also have a say in this year's space program. Therefore, I think we need to launch a giant foot into the dark side of the moon, because after all, I think the moon is in great need of a good butt kicking. It just sits out there, all aloof, only choosing to become supermoon every once in a while, and it never returns our calls, and the fact that it's a 4G dead zone is no excuse. Anyway, the crew of Apollo 11 also determined that the moon, in all of its distant mystery, kinda sucks. It's a dead sphere of dust listing around us, completely devoid of any exciting characteristics. Why couldn't we get one of the cool moons, like Io? With over 400 active volcanoes, it's the most geologically active object in the solar system. Plus, some of those peaks are taller than Mount Everest. Of course, then we'd be less interesting than our moon, and that's never a good thing. All I'm saying is Jupiter has, like, all of these moons. It could lend us, like, one or two. Freaking fat hog. But when it comes right down to it, the moon is the moon we got stuck with, so I guess we're in it for the long haul together. But moon, if you're watching this, please take note. If you ever crash into us, I will never forgive you.
Until tomorrow, he's Griff, and he's still talking.